We got a good one. Got a little beat to it, little hip hop. Hey everybody! Sorry, we're just a couple minutes late getting on here. We were trying to do some little technical difficulties, but we're gonna have to try to do it afterwards because, yeah, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. Like I said, we've got some new stuff on here on Restream, so sticking me in the neck. All right. Hey, Prince. Come on in, come on in. Tell a friend, come join us this evening. I know we have Romeo on here as well. Hello, Romeo. Hopefully he'll put something up in the chat. And go ahead and do some sharing of our if you can. This is a good topic tonight. It's a hot topic and it's gonna get hot up in here. Oh gosh. Because we are not playing tonight. Come on in. Hey, Passion. Hi, Robert. We got Barbados in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to give it another minute or so for folks because we were a couple of minutes behind, but we are here. I'm pretty good. I'm a little tired. I admit it. I'm a little tired. But that's only because I'm on weekend. So I got a little rasp in the throat, in the voice. So we're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. Yes, we are. We got a great topic tonight. So what do y'all think? I'm poofy. It's really coming nicely. A little poofy, but it has a little ways to go. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get started because we got a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack. Hello, Lorenzo.
Hi, boys.
Hi. We got a tough one tonight. We got a tough topic. We're gonna really delve into it tonight. We're going to make sure that everybody's educated and all that good shit. Okay, so we're gonna put on our teachers hats this evening. So we want y'all to make sure that you stick and stay for this whole episode. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Come on in, come on in. Good evening and welcome, welcome, welcome to Juicy Tales Erotic Chat. I am your hostess, Ms. JewCee. And of course, I could not do this show without my beautiful, vivacious, sexy, gorgeous Miss Purple Rain in the house, my
Hi,
sis.
everybody.
Yay! So we have a lot to unpack tonight. So we really hope that you guys please, please, please make sure you chime in. You put in some comments. We want to reach over 100 comments tonight because this topic is a hot topic and it's something that really needs to be discussed. Okay, it really does, and I think some folks need a little bit of education on this topic as well. So definitely, 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 please like and share. And wherever you are on our platforms, especially if you're on our YouTubes, please like and share. Yes, no reverb today. She's we're working on that as well. She's using her phone tonight. So we hopefully we're gonna take some time this week to her and I've just been ripping and running, ripping and running, ripping and running, and we're gonna take some time and do some audio work with the new restream. It's because it's a new setup now, so when we really haven't had a chance to just like play with it, so we will take some time and do that this week. Okay, guys, but thanks for that. No reverb, we like it with no reverb. Okay. It'll sound much better. Wow, this weekend, let me just say first I want to give a shout out to 317 MC in Indianapolis. Oh, oh my gosh, Indianapolis, Indiana. And I got to give out to K Red in Dayton, Ohio. Thank you for allowing Juicy Boutique to set up and do her thing at your events this weekend. I did 3 events in 2 days. So that's the reason I am exhausted. On top of that, it was in the 90s in both venues and over 90 degrees. So pretty hot, pretty humid, but a great time. Thank you guys. And thank you for everyone that purchased or networked with me. It was absolutely a wonderful weekend. I can't stop smiling. It was absolutely fabulous. I really appreciate having that opportunity to talk to folks and hopefully help a few people with some of the toys that they purchased this weekend. So great conversations, and it's what I do and I love it. I do love it. How was your weekend, sis? How was it?
It was rejuvenating, but I did work all weekend, so but I got to, have some me time. So it was a good weekend, all in all.
Good. Yay. So we both had great weekends. So now we're hitting Monday, and I know we are both pretty much bushed and tired, but this topic is so important. And I think it's very, very much something that needs to be discussed within our community, especially, and it needs to be discussed, period, with everyone, because so many things change and so many things are out there from the medical standpoint that are always evolving, better understanding of the topic, better understanding of the medications, better understanding of what you can do to protect yourself and your partner. So there's a lot of things that we're going to discuss tonight. So buckle up, get your pen and paper, make sure, that you're taking notes. We got notes for you to take a little bit, and please chime in. We really do want to hit 100 comments this evening as well with this video. And once again, please remember to like and share. Please remember to like and share. So, wow. Let me just tell you, this topic is tough. It's tough for everybody. It is a topic that has affected a lot of people, and it's affected myself even on a personal level. So we're going to be talking about STIs in our community. And STIs are, it stands for sexually transmitted infections. And also we'll be talking about STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. And we're going to go over the differences because a lot of people don't know that there is a difference between the two. And hopefully we can give you guys a little bit of education tonight and get you guys on the right track to making sure that you're always practicing safe sex, or you know your status and the status of your partner or partners. So did you know that STIs versus STDs, often confuse sexually transmitted infections, STIs, and sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, aren't actually the same thing. An infection, which is when bacteria, viruses, or parasites attack the body, comes from a disease. And while an infection may result in zero symptoms, a disease usually always comes with clear signs. Okay, so that's a little bit of the differences between an STI and an STD. So with an STI, you don't necessarily have to have a lot of symptoms, is basically what they're saying. With an STD, you do have symptoms, and an STI can turn into an STD. Okay, so I hope everybody, I hope I made that clear. Did I make that clear? Right, Purple Rain, I'm hoping I did. I tried.
You did.
Okay. Did you want to chime in on that or add to anything?
No, ma'am.
That was right there, huh? I did good. All right. I was trying to find the most basic way to explain STIs and STDs because growing up in my world, mostly it was just STDs is all we talked about. And it
Well,
seems
the thing is, until I was about 30, I thought they were all the same thing because it was never explained to my generation either. I even have an ex that blames me for giving him an STD before, and it was trichomonas. I was like 19. And he still calls it a STD. I don't correct him. I don't argue with him about it. I just let it be. Um, but they don't ever explain, especially to my generation, they do not explain the difference.
and I think, like I said, once again, that's what we always want to do here. We want to give you guys some knowledge, some power, some understanding, because these things are not discussed about. And a lot of reasons why we don't talk about STIs or STDs is the shame factor, is the lack of knowledge factor, is the omission factor. So it is something that we need to really discuss in order to, number one, make sure that people aren't spreading these STIs or STDs, and also that they know what's going on with their own bodies, because some of these STIs and STDs can do harm, especially if they go undetected, especially if you don't have symptoms. So it's very, very important that you know your status, your partner's status, as well as you understand that although you have a status, although you have your paperwork, that status becomes null and void as soon as you have unprotected sex with the next person. Understand that. You can tell me all day long that I get checked every 3 months, but in between those 3 months, how many partners do you have? And I'm not shaming anybody. You can have as many partners as you would like. But what I'm saying is your status sheet that you had from 3 months ago is basically null and void until you get another status check. So understand that. I know a lot of people wave around, oh, I got my paper, I got my status, I know what my status is. Unless, and if you keep changing partners or you have a new partner, and even if you have protected sex, there's still that possibility There's still that slight possibility that you could still catch a sexually transmitted disease or an STI if you're not protecting yourself properly or correctly. That could happen. So just letting you know that it's really important to understand that I'm very happy that people are getting their status, but understand that your status is only as good on that piece of paper as when you actually took the test and did not have any further sexual activity unprotected.
Yep.
Okay. So you might want to ask folks, even if they show you their status or their status or they tell you their status, how many partners have you had since you had this status taken? So anything you want to add to that, Purple Rain?
If you have a consistent partner, just because you all are having unprotected sex only with each other, I would still get tested regularly because some things take a long time to show up. And if you had gotten it previous and it just hadn't shown up, then that's something that you still need to keep up on. Also, just because y'all both say y'all are only having unprotected sex with each other doesn't mean that it's true. So I would just stay up on your consistently on your status. That's just my opinion. Not saying don't trust your partner, but at some point you have to have responsibility for yourself.
Yeah, that's really a good point. And we're not, like I said, we're not trying to scare folks. We're not trying to make anyone feel uncomfortable. But what we are trying to do is, I think we're hearing your fan in the background, or is there an AC on or something?
That's
Yeah, you might have to mute on occasion, just
okay.
just because we can hear
It's always on. I don't know what's going on with this new system.
it picking up everything on your end.
That's crazy.
So, but at least we're not getting the feedback, but we are picking up, I think we are picking up your fan, or your AC. So, um, so, okay, so Passion Robin said he thought they were the same thing. So we're happy we could, give you guys that bit of information because it's super duper important that we know the differences. And a lot of this, like I said, this is not discussed. When we're in health education classes glossed over, we may talk about a couple of things, but tonight we're going to talk about as many STIs and STDs that are out there so that you folks will understand there's a laundry list. Okay, there's a laundry list. And we want you not to be afraid, but we want you to be informed. Okay, we want you to be informed. That is the most important part of this conversation tonight. We're also going to be sharing. I know I'm going to be sharing. I believe that Purple Rain will be sharing, and we actually have someone that was a victim. So we have a statement of an unidentified person that wanted to share some of their issues and what they've gone through, and it's very important because this can happen to any of us at any time. I've had chlamydia. I've had trichomoniasis. A lot of times men do not have the same symptoms as women when they actually can, but they can actually transmit this particular STI. So it just really is, it's so crazy out here with people running around doing stuff willy-nilly. It happens. But some of the things we can get cured for, some of the things you cannot. Some of the things it's just a shot or a pill for a week or whatever the case may be. And other ones, it takes longer. And then other ones, you are always going to have it. And you might have to be on medication of some sort for the rest of your life. There was a time when there wasn't medication. Now, a lot of folks are able to go undetected with as long as they're on the medication and they do what they're supposed to do. And I know that Purple Rain can talk a little bit more about the undetected portion of this and make sure that everybody understands when we get to that part. So I wanted to start with, for you guys, really just giving you some of the most common, and maybe you all don't know all of them, but because I learned a couple of new ones myself that I wasn't aware of. So the most common sexually transmitted infections. So STIs, formerly known as sexually transmitted disease, or STD, is an infection that is spread primarily by sexual contact. One person passes the infection to another during oral, vaginal, or anal sex. STIs are some of the most difficult infections to catch. You have to be up close and personal to spread them. So why are STIs so common? The answer may be that people don't know how to recognize, treat, or prevent them. Or when they do, they often don't do so effectively. Okay, so one of the first ones that I would like to talk to you about is chlamydia. And I mentioned that a little bit earlier. Chlamydia is the most common curbable bacterial STI. It affects the cervix, which is the opening to the uterus or womb. It can also affect the urethra in the penis, okay? Many women remain asymptomatic when there are symptoms. They include pain during sex and discharge from the penis or vagina. The Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, recommends that you be screened for chlamydia and other sexually transmitted infections if you are under 25 years old and sexually active. The CDC also recommends screening if you have any of these risk factors. You have a new sex partner, you have a sex partner with an STI, you have more than one sex partner, you have a sex partner who is having sex with other people. Chlamydia can do a lot of damage to your body in the long run. It can cause infertility by blocking the reproductive tract in men and women. Latex condoms can prevent the spread of this infection. Okay. So are there any questions about chlamydia? Because a lot of times women have these symptoms for chlamydia a little more prevalent than males do. But once you find out that you have it, it is curable with medication. And you both have to take the medication for the duration. Usually it's about a week long, 7 days. You both have to take the medication in order for it to clear up. After 7 days, I would tell you to go back, get retested, make sure it's clear so that you can continue on with your sexual activity. Did you want to add anything to that, Purple Rain?
Nope. Cut it. I approve this message.
You approve this message? Perfect. Cool. Let's get on to the next one because there's, like I said, there's a laundry list. Gonorrhea. Okay, I get to talk on this one also from a personal level. Gonorrhea, sometimes referred to as which means the clap, is another common bacterial STD. It often infects, the same organs as chlamydia and has similar long-term effects. If you have gonorrhea, you may experience a burning sensation. Hello, fellas. Okay. When you go pee-pee, when you urinate. The infection can also cause white, yellow, or green discharge from the penis or vagina. It's important to know that many people, especially women with gonorrhea, don't have symptoms. Let me tell you that again. It's important to know that many people, especially women with gonorrhea, don't have symptoms. The CDC estimates that in 2018, there were approximately 1.6 million new gonococcal infections in the US, with more than half occurring in persons ages 15 to 24 years of age. That's a lot, y'all. Be aware, too, that gonorrhea can also infect your throat if you get it by having oral sex. Gonorrhea does not always go away when it is treated by antibiotics. There is a growing problem of antibiotic resistant gonorrhea, which means it no longer dies off with the antibiotic drugs they used to kill it. So understand, some of these wonderful, these viruses are just like when we talked about COVID. These are living organisms. If you guys didn't pay attention in your health class, if you didn't pay attention in science class, these are living organisms. They want to live. So guess what? They adapt. They can adapt. So and I've mentioned this before, my former husband gave me gonorrhea. However, I had no symptoms until technically it was advanced. It had gone into my fallopian tubes. So, and I wound up having severe cramps and wound up in an emergency room at a military base. I am a statistic thanks to my husband. Yay. So, what has happened to me happens to a lot of women because we don't have symptoms. One of the things that I have learned and I missed, honestly, when I was younger, is I did see my husband's penis at the time when we were about to have sex, and it had some red blotches on it. I thought because he had just come out of the shower that he'd had the water, because we had really hot water. He'd had the water on too long. I'm like, what you trying to do? Burn it up, But that was actually a sign that he had a symptom of gonorrhea. So sometimes there's things that we don't recognize or don't know. We had painful sex. I'd never had painful sex with my husband before, not like this. And then eventually, like I said, that was another sign. That was something else that I missed, because I've had painful sex before because of how I'm built as a woman, but nothing quite like this. And that was another sign. And that was a sign that all I was doing was either reinfecting him, or he was, I was definitely reinfecting him because I had it and didn't know it. I wound up like I said, at a military hospital. I wound up having to go through the treatment, but the damage was done. I was no longer able to carry children to term. So this is my husband. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are involved in a committed relationship, whether it's your significant other, it's your boo thing, whatever it may be, you have got to disclose. You have got to tell the other person. I could have gotten past my husband having an affair. I can't get past the fact that he almost killed me. Are there anything that you'd like to add on this part of it?
I'm gonna wait till are we done with all the STIs?
No, there's a bunch more.
I'm just gonna interject this in the middle of this. The reason why I stress so much about, even while being in a committed relationship, getting tested frequently. One, shit happens. Shit happens. Because, like she said, once you have sex, your status doesn't matter. You go get tested, you have negative results. The moment you have sex, it no longer matters. But sometimes partners lie, whether it's from shame, whether it's from not giving a fuck,
or even ignorance on their part.
ignorance on their part. And I was getting there. I just was trying to figure out how to say it without saying ignorance. Right.
Night, William.
What? Your auntie said good night. What are you doing? I'm on the middle of my show. Bye.
You said auntie, look, I don't have fun.
JewCee. Bye. Sorry. He said good night.
Okay.
Shit happens though. And how long had you gone before you? How long had it?
How long
been
was
before it made you girl?
So the reason how I know where I got it from, because I had, before I moved to Georgia.
Well, I know all of that. I'm saying how long you had it before it made you sterile.
But I'm saying, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
We moved to Georgia. I had went to the OBGYN in September.
Okay.
I didn't have anything. It was clean bill of health and everything. Slept with my husband, of course, needless to say. And then by November, Thanksgiving, is when I doubled over in pain, and I had to be basically rushed to the emergency room. So about a little over 2 months.
And I usually recommend people getting tested every 3 months. But that's less than 2 months, people. Shit happens. And I rather people get tested every 6 weeks just to know what their physical bodies are going through. Because like I said, there are some things that don't show up right away, especially on the STD side. And from someone who almost lost a child due to an STI, knowing your status, regardless of commitment level, is important. So that's my soapbox.
It's a beautiful soapbox. It is. It's very, very important. And you have to understand that as young folk, they may not understand what they need to do in these types of situations. And I do understand, my husband didn't want to say anything because, oh my God, I'm going to lose my wife. But probably he would not have lost me in the beginning if he would have been honest in the beginning. But you lied to me, and then you put my health in danger. So, yeah, of course I'm leaving you. I'm divorcing you, and I'm taking the child, and we're out. But you didn't care enough about to protect your wife. That's a problem. So,
It's, you know what, that leads to something that I always say when I get into a relationship. I don't give a damn what you do outside this house, but don't bring home no diseases and don't bring home no goddamn babies. And we good.
wrap it up, baby. Wrap it up. Sometimes it's just
honest with me, but if you don't lie, don't bring home no diseases and don't bring home no babies.
So the next one, which can cause a lot more issues than just what gonorrhea can, is our good old friend syphilis. Syphilis is a common STI with a long history. It's caused by the bacterium Treponema pallidum and can lead to serious health problems if left untreated. Syphilis is transmitted when you come into direct contact with syphilis sores, which are usually found on the outside or inside of sex organs. They can also appear on your mouth or rectum. That means it can be transmitted by oral, vaginal, or anal sex. In fact, some scientists think that oral sex is responsible for the rise of syphilis in men who have sex with men. Syphilis sores can appear on areas not covered by a condom. Condoms lower your risk of getting syphilis, but they don't eliminate it. At first, syphilis sores, ulcers, cankers are small and painless. They may heal by themselves, but that doesn't mean the infection is gone. It has just become harder to spot and treat. So, once again, we've talked about it. You got to know your bodies. Feel free, take your clothes off, look around, make sure. That you are good. You don't have anything that's abnormal. If something is abnormal, go get it checked out. Go get it checked out. Don't wait, hesitate. Your fan again. Reign, you're mute. There you go. The next one is Mycoplasma genitalium, or MG. MG is starting to emerge as a major cause of infections in the cervix. MG also causes inflammation of the urethra in the penis. MG can cause some kinds of symptoms MG can cause the same kinds of symptoms as gonorrhea and chlamydia. In 2007, a well-known study of U.S. teens found that MG infected more people than gonorrhea. Why did it take so long to recognize MG's importance? Because most cases don't cause symptoms. It was hard to identify until new technology became available. Microbiologic testing is the diagnostic tool of choice for detection of MG. These are called NAATs, Nucleic Acid Amplification Tests. In the United States, 2 NAATs have been cleared by the Food and Drug Administration for this purpose. So MG is something that, you might also ask if you've gone in and you know something is wrong and they tell you you don't have gonorrhea and you don't have chlamydia, this might be what you have. You might still have something. Don't just leave there and you know that something is wrong with your body. More research on MG is needed. Current research has found a link between MG and serious long-term health problems such as infertility, from pelvic inflammatory disease, which is what I had. I had PID. Okay, so gonorrhea had went up in my fallopian tubes, which causes pelvic inflammatory disease, which can make you sterile. Trichomoniasis is next on this list. Trichomoniasis, or trick, as they say on the streets, is the most common non-viral STI worldwide. It affects more women than men. This infection can seem like a yeast infection, fungal infection of the vagina and vulva, or bacterial vaginosis, BV, caused by an overgrowth of bacteria in the vagina. Since the symptoms are similar, symptoms include frothy discharge, a strong vaginal odor, pain during intercourse, irritation, and itching. Men with trichomoniasis don't usually have symptoms. If you have been diagnosed with the infection, make sure your partner gets treated. Even if trichomoniasis does not seem to be affecting your partner much, they can still give it back to you no matter what their sex. Did you want to mention anything on any of these so far?
No.
Okay. Hey, Tack. Hey. Welcome. So always understand, if you know that something is not quite right with your body, make sure you get yourself checked out, but then do the right thing and make sure that you tell your partner or partners so that they too, because a lot of this stuff can be taken care of with medication. Some things cannot be, but some things can be, or it can be. Oh my gosh! Hey, Steve! Hey! Another wonderful Mr. Sexologist himself on the show tonight. Love you. We gotta have you back. Gotta have you back. Come join us. So once again, just mentioning that sometimes you don't have symptoms, and we want to make sure that you guys are knowing what the most common ones are. So the next one is, once again, this is one that is near and dear to my heart because my sister-in-law, who is my sister, if you know me, had got this from my no good, disgusting brother. Human HPV. I know I messed this up, the pronunciation, but I'm going to try really hard to get it right. Papillomavirus is the name, but it's human HPV is what it's called. And a lot of people are seeing more of this and more of this on commercials that are on TV a lot now, advertising to help people get this taken care of, women especially. HPV may be the most common STI. Studies from before the HPV vaccine was available showed that around 3/4 of sexually active people had HPV at some point. 1/4 of women were infected at any given time. I'm going to say that again. 1/4 of women were infected at any given time. HPV is sometimes called the cervical cancer virus, but only a few types of HPV can cause cancer. There are other cancers linked to HPV, including penile and anal cancer. Other HPV types cause genital warts, other warts, or no symptoms at all. There is no cure for HPV, but its symptoms can be treated. Infections can sometimes resolve on their own. It is recommended that 11 to 12-year-olds get the HPV vaccine to protect them from the most common strains of the virus. The CDC also recommends the HPV vaccine for adults up to the age of 26 if they were not vaccinated earlier. Some people may receive the vaccine up to age 45. Anything you would like to? So HPV is an STI, folks.
And it's a very dangerous one, as much as any of the other ones. My biggest thing with HPV and knowing your HPV status is pelvic exams, ladies. HPV is the reason why I now have a hysterectomy. When I say my ex-husband almost killed me, he almost killed me. And they didn't figure out what was wrong with me till way after I had my son. But it's the reason why I went into labor early. They could not figure out for a long time why I kept having abnormal pap smears after having a child. I think they did a pap smear on me every month for almost 2 years because they all kept coming back abnormal. They ran 90 million STI, STD panels on me. I was given blood every 2 or 3 months, pelvic exams, cultures going back. They couldn't figure out nothing, and then they finally figured it out. By then it was too late. I never got diagnosed with cervical cancer, but the only way to get me back to a normal pap was to do a full hysterectomy. Fellas, y'all got to be careful. A lot of these STIs affect you all, but they affect our reproductive organs. They can kill us. Simple STIs that can be cured, if they are not found fast enough, can kill us from the inside out. Make us feel not worthy, put us into depression because we lose parts of us that we've been indoctrinated into believing what makes us a woman.
Yeah.
As women, a lot of us are indoctrinated to that having babies and being able to carry babies and being able to have a cycle and all of those normal woman things are what make us women. It's not what makes us women. My gender, what I was born as, my vagina, my I'm a woman 'cause I'm a woman. But we've been so indoctrinated into believing that what makes us women or what makes us more of a woman or valuable as a woman is our ability to have children. And when you don't protect us, this is what happens to us.
And
And
we suffer in silence. I want you all to understand that. A lot of this messes with our psyche. Our psyche. It messes with with who we are. I know it messed with me badly.
And with HPV, with this one is one of the hardest because this one can't be detected in an STI screening. We have to go get a full panel exam at the doctor. Cultures have to be made. Like you would think they were testing for MRSA when they're testing for HPV. And with the new laws, it's hard to get tested for it now because if you're not showing any symptoms, they don't do pap smears on women until they're 21. And if that one comes back regular and normal, they won't do another one for 5 years. Whereas when I was growing up, we were getting them as soon as we got our cycle and we were getting one once a year.
Once a year. Yep.
Now all of a sudden, I had to fight with my daughter's doctor to make sure she got one. I was like, she's on birth control. I need her to have one.
And it's very important that we, as women, we keep up with our vaginal health.
I had a niece that was pregnant and they wouldn't give her a pap smear. She was pregnant because she wasn't 21 yet.
Yeah. Lorenzo, to answer your question, for those of you that don't see it, we'll let you know. It says, old saying, women can get tricked by wearing too tight jeans, myth or truth? Myth.
I used to also hear that we could give it to ourselves and it wasn't from tight jeans. It was from like, I don't know. My doctor told me something crazy once and I don't know why doctors even feed into the BS. But I was pregnant with my daughter and I hadn't had sex in months. I think maybe I just had gotten it before and didn't know because I didn't have any symptoms. But she was like, no, you might have just had like BV or something with all your hormones being out of whack and you gave it to yourself. I was like, huh? And at the time I was studying sex, I was, learning about all this stuff because I've always been interested in it. And I was like, no, I need you to not lie to people like that ever again because that's ridiculous.
No, a sexually transmitted disease, an STI or an STD.
Well, back then they were labeling it a STI or STD, but they were also saying it was like BV. So it was a hormone imbalance or some crap with my discharge or something, my pH being off is what they were also trying to say. They were saying that trichomoniasis wasn't just solely an STI.
It's an STI.
Yeah, so, we know now, but back then everything but.
The way that in order to finish answering his question or his comment, the way that when we're talking about too tight of jeans, what you can do by wearing too tight of clothing and not allowing your vaginal area to breathe. These young girls that go to bed with panties on and pajamas on and you wearing your jeans all tight that you can see your camel toe and everybody thinks that's cute. No, you're definitely making yourself have a yeast infection because it gets too hot down there. Okay.
Too moist.
And moist. Hot and moist are not
together.
They're not good. It's not good. and it has no way to breathe. No way to breathe. So it could be,
Eddie's.
you need cotton panties, but I understand a lot of people like these little silk or polyester, but every now and then you need some cotton. And
I don't like panties at all.
Or some people don't wear them at all. Some of us are a little older. We might as well keep them on for a minute, but they just, whatever. But at night I don't wear panties. I don't, if I can help it, I don't wear nothing. But unless I got some lingerie I want to slip into, then
Let me find out you over there being sexy.
I am. So it's very, so I hope that answers the question, Lorenzo, because that's a great question. But no, trichomoniasis, chlamydia, these are all sexually transmitted infections, and or they can turn into diseases. A yeast infection is something that a woman can get because her pH balance is totally off. She can be wearing stuff that's not breathable, and it I mean, I know we want to look cute, but
people in the back.
What did he?
I said, can you explain bacterial vaginosis for the people in the back?
Oh, have we got there yet?
Oh, is it on the list?
Let me go look. I thought it was, but I can't remember. I know what's next, but it might not be on here. I thought I saw it. Yes, I got it. Okay. I can explain. I can explain it. I knew it was on here, just didn't know where it was. It wasn't next, but that's okay. We can do that. Bacterial vaginosis, BV, B as in boy, V as in Victor, is a condition in which the healthy bacteria in the vagina are replaced by different organisms. Symptoms include burning and itching around the vagina, white or gray discharge, and a strong fishy odor that is more noticeable after sex. Some people question whether BV is an STD, but there is a link between BV and having a new sex partner or multiple sex partners. You can take antibiotics to get rid of BV, but it can show up again. Bacterial vaginosis can increase the risk of HIV, pelvic inflammatory disease, and preterm birth, babies born too early. Let me get one other thing for you guys so that we'll know this. So we were talking about yeast infections. The symptoms are usually characterized by vaginal pain, redness, swelling of the vulva, vaginal rash. I know you got your burning sensation while urinating, itching and irritation of the vagina, watery discharge from the vagina, and vaginisms. So, but a lot of times, yeast infection, you can go get over-the-counter medication to take care of that. It's usually about 7 days. Once again, go get tested, make sure that's what it is. But a lot of times, yeast infections, I don't believe, I would have to, I'm going to look that up, but I do not believe that a yeast infection can be passed on to a male. Only reason why I say that is because it's basically made up.
But a male carrier and give it to the next woman.
Yeah. The male is not, is he affected by it? I can't remember.
No. He's
not affected by it, but he can pass it if he's been with somebody else that has had a yeast infection. That's why you need to be cleaning and cleansing. And
to answer your next question, Lorenzo, yes, a woman can get a yeast infection from medication. Yes.
Throw it right into
amoxicillin is
and a lot of times, if a woman takes an antibiotic, she will get a yeast infection. And a lot of times, if she takes an antibiotic, her birth control will not work either.
Yep. Yes, a man can pass on BV as well, especially if they don't if they are not taking showers in between sex partners or taking off condoms. You know, the trifling shit that men do.
Okay, we're gonna say some men. Okay, we gotta throw in some, not all.
I didn't say all, so if they take offense to that,
I just want to make I'm just making sure.
women do. Look.
I hear you.
I see.
Okay, so let's get to. I gotta back up. Hold on. So we're
Yeah,
gonna talk
about you saying vaginism.
Next. We're gonna talk about herpes.
Whew.
So
That's a big. That's got a big D on it, y'all.
That's a big one. But before we talk about that, I want y'all to listen to a story I have that I feel is very important to talk about. I was diagnosed with HSV last October. My previous partner didn't tell me of their status until after we slept together. I had been tested for STIs after this partner previously, but I was unaware that HSV and HIV are not automatically included in a standard STI panel. You must request those specifically. I hadn't had any symptoms, but since finding out, I requested the test, which came back positive for HSV2. HSV2 is considered genital herpes, even though it doesn't always occur on the genitals. The same for HSV1. They both can occur in other parts of the body. When I have an outbreak, it's oral. I get a cold sore, fever blister when I'm having an outbreak. Many people don't know that cold sores, fever blisters are HSV, and a majority of the human population have it. My symptoms start with the corners of my eyes and nose becoming irritated. It often feels like allergies. Then the spot where the cold sore develops begins to tingle. It kind of feels like a tiny bug bite. Usually within a day or two of these symptoms forming, the sore surfaces. Sometimes it's a small bump, and other times it'll swell up to the size of a marble. It's extremely painful and quite embarrassing due to the stigma. I usually don't go out in public until it's healed. My glands swell, I become lethargic, and my body aches. My outbreaks basically present as flu symptoms. It usually takes about a week for the outbreak to pass and another few days to a week for the spot to heal. My outbreaks are always in the same place. The hardest part about having this virus isn't the virus and the symptoms themselves. The hardest part are the stigma, judgment, and ignorance. For the first time in my life, I have to disclose a less than perfect STI status, and I always will. That's even harder as the betrayal and lack of care from the person that infected me. I hope y'all understand what our anonymous writer wrote in, because this is what we're talking about. You have to disclose, and you have to know your status. You have to know that you're ruining somebody else's life. You simply are. It is more important that you be honest than that you don't ask, don't tell. You omit because that's a lie. You have to be forthcoming because this stuff is running rapid in our community.
HSV is more common than most people know.
Yes, stress can trigger a herpes episode as well. Yes, it can. So let's talk a little bit more about herpes and what it actually is. You have to mute Purple Rain. HSV is an STI caused by a virus. It comes in two forms, HSV1 and HSV2, and that's V as in Victor, if I'm not real clear on my letters. HSV1 is often associated with cold sores, and HSV2 is often associated with genital sores. However, it is possible to pass herpes from the mouth to the genitals and vice versa. Herpes cannot be cured, but its symptoms can be treated with antiviral drugs. You can pass the virus to someone else even if you do not have any sores or symptoms. I want to say that again. You can pass the virus to someone else even if you don't have any sores or other symptoms. Using a condom, dental dams, finger condoms lowers the risk of spreading herpes. You can still get herpes even if you use a condom, though, so you got to be very cautious. Herpes can be spread by having sex, but it can also be passed through skin-to-skin contact. So are there any questions or any additional comments on herpes? Hey, Alexis. Herpes can still exist after no visible presence. Yes, once herpes is in your system, it's in your system. So, once again, full disclosure.
Herpes is one of those things I used to be so ignorant about, because even though I knew there was HSV1 and HSV2, there was still some discrepancy about the whole cold sore thing and if that was a sexually transmitted virus. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I agree.
I knew a family that all of them got cold sores. When they got a cold, they got cold sores. And that was the scariest thing in the world to me, because all y'all walking around with that shit. Like, once I realized what it really, really was and how it had been passed down through their bloodline, like a family trait,
Mm-hmm.
that's some scary shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's an STI first. It's a Prince, it's a STI. It's a sexually transmitted infection, which can go on to be because they can, quote unquote, treat it a little bit, I guess you could say. It is under, as of now, mind you, everything changes in the medical field, are forever evolving. But as of now, herpes is considered an STI, a sexually transmitted infection. Let's see. HIV and AIDS. HIV is the virus that can cause AIDS. It can only be spread by an exchange of bodily fluids. HIV can be spread through semen, vaginal fluids, breast milk, blood. HIV cannot be passed by casual contact. Today, most people with HIV are treated with a combination of drugs known as highly active antiretroviral. I had this word earlier. Antiretroviral something. Anyway, therapy. I know I'm saying it wrong.
Antiviral therapy.
Thank you. Told you I'm tired. Sorry, guys. Which is HAART, or combined antiretroviral therapy, CART. These therapies cannot cure the infection, but they can reduce the chances of HIV leading to AIDS. HIV is no longer considered a terminal illness. Many people with the virus are living long and healthy lives. Anything you want to add with that one?
So with HIV, and this is just something I learned in the last couple of weeks, because y'all know I'm ever challenging myself to learn about these STIs and STDs. HIV, if they are taking the cocktails, either one of those two that she mentioned, the antivirals, and they are undetected, there are people that do not disclose their status because they're deemed undetectable. So they're walking around like they're cured. They're not cured. They're just undetectable, which means that it probably more than likely won't turn into AIDS. It stays at HIV status. With that being said, whether you are gay, straight, queer, non-binary, whatever you call yourself in the rainbow of multiple rainbows.
Yeah.
PrEP is your friend. I've been on PrEP for 3 years. PrEP will protect you. HIV is no longer the death sentence for you and your partner. HIV is no longer the death sentence for you and your partner that it used to be. People with HIV statuses used to be where people will be like, well, only date people with HIV. There's been some talk that once people are undetectable, they can't transmit it anymore, but I'm not testing that theory. I'm going to test with PrEP. Because yes, Prince, with PrEP you can touch. PrEP protects the partner who is not infected. It does a very good job. And most times if you go to your local STI, STD clinic and you tell them you want PrEP, it's covered by Medicaid, Medicare, most insurances. They give it for free because they want to protect everybody, men, women, and child. Yes, straight people take PrEP.
Yes.
I know a lot of straight men that are on PrEP because so many women, especially in the Black community, have been infected with HIV due to down low men not wanting to disclose their status or what they're doing. Yes, straight people can take PrEP too. I'm an advocate. I'm probably one of the biggest advocates for PrEP. I don't ever see me stopping taking it. Because just like HSV, HIV is prevalent out here in these streets. And with people feeling like they no longer need to disclose their status because they're on medication, it's dangerous out here. Before, people used to not disclose because it was a death sentence and somebody gave it to me and killed me, so I'm going to give it to everybody else. Now they're not disclosing because they're undetectable and they feel like they're cured. It's crazy, but that's what's happening. That's all I got to say.
The crowd goes wild. So, once again, folks, full disclosure, know your status. do what you can do to keep yourself healthy, as far as making sure that you're taking the medications and take them correctly. Don't take one. Don't be like some of these young girls out here. Take one pill, don't take the next one. Don't take the next one. I'm gonna take one now, and don't do that. Don't.
So if you do get a HIV positive status and you feel like you can't afford your medication, there are laws in place in at least 45 states where the state covers your cost of your medication because they want to get everybody medicated, especially on CVVRT.
So if you miss any of this, or if you know anyone that misses any of this show, please, please, please have them come back and find it. You know, it'll be up for a while. It's on my YouTube. But it's so important that you guys, we need this information. We really need this information. Number one, to protect ourselves, as well as our family members, as well as our friends, the whole 9 yards. We have to. We're going to talk about hepatitis next. I lost a very, 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 very close friend of mine, dear friend of mine, many years ago to hepatitis. She had hepatitis C. There are several types of hepatitis. Different viruses are spread through various routines, but they all damage the liver. The type of hepatitis most often spread by sexual contact is hepatitis B, HBV as in Victor. However, in rare cases, it is also possible to get hepatitis C by having sex with an infected person. Over time, hepatitis B and C can lead to scarring of the liver, cirrhosis, and liver cancer. Fortunately, there is a vaccine that can protect you from hepatitis B. The hepatitis B vaccine is recommended for all infants and children and many groups of adults. However, anyone who wants to be protected can get it. While there isn't a vaccine for hepatitis C, there are very effective treatments that can cure the infection. Approximately 1.25 million people in the United States have chronic HBV infection. Now, my girlfriend got it through a blood transfusion. That's how she got hepatitis C. And she passed. She wound up having a lot of different complications. And this was years back. But they have made a lot of improvements. Like I said, at the beginning of this, there's a lot of things that are changing. There's a lot of, you got to keep up with it. And it's a lot to keep up with. We get that, we get that. We understand, because stuff is evolving and changing all the time. And always remember, when you're hearing about a virus, please keep in mind that viruses are a living organism. They want to live. So guess what? They will change right in front of a microscope. They will change how to treat them. What worked 10 years ago may not work now. If anyone during the COVID pandemic, if you paid attention to your Lysol can, it said that it could kill COVID. COVID has been here. COVID didn't just show up. But what happened is COVID mutated. And that's what a lot of these viruses do. They mutate because they want to live. They want to exist. They become stronger.
A lot of people didn't realize COVID was as prevalent as MRSA.
Yep. COVID's been here. It just this strain, this particular strain, and there's a new strain out. This particular strain, we didn't have an answer for. Viruses aren't stupid. They want to live. They're a living organism. Understand that. And understand that you're passing living organisms. Okay, we already did BV, so let me continue on to cancroid. Is caused by the bacterium, and I know I cannot pronounce this, so I'm going to spell it. HAENLIGHTEN. Mophilus. I want to say it's hemophilus. Ducrey, Ducrey. Anyway, can't pronounce those really well, but I think I got the hemophilus correct. Cankered infections raise the risk of getting HIV. This STI isn't as common in the United States as it is in other parts of the world. So that's kind of when they tell you, when you're taking trips across the country and you guys are traveling, be very careful. Be very, very, very careful, because in other countries, they've got different diseases that possibly, and different infections that possibly in the United States, we don't have. Okay. So just be knowledgeable about that. The ulcers caused by the chancroid are often larger than those caused by syphilis. They can be more painful too. Early on, it can be hard to tell these two infections apart. LGV, which is lymphogranulum venereum, venereum, is an STI caused by bacteria. At one time, LGV mostly affected people in developing countries. However, it is now on the rise worldwide. In 2003, an LGV outbreak happened among men who have sex with men, MSM, in the Netherlands. Since then, it has been found in some groups of MSMs across Western Europe, North America, and Australia. LGV is caused by a type of chlamydia trichomoniasis. It can raise the risk of getting or spreading HIV. Non-gonococcal urethritis, NGU. NGU causes urethritis. Urethritis is an inflammation of the tube that carries urine from your bladder to the outside of your body. NGU is inflammation caused by something other than gonorrhea. NGU can be caused by chlamydia and MG. However, 50% of cases don't have an identifiable organism. Symptoms of NGU include burning when you urinate and discharge from the head of the penis. However, it is important to know that most people with NGU have no symptoms at all. So those were a lot of our STIs. And once again, remembering the beginning of this talk, STIs can turn into STDs. And there is a difference between STIs and STDs. So, and we might have to do a part 2, and we'll do more on talking about STDs as well. But, you know, I hope you guys got a little bit out of this. I tried to make sure it wasn't too technical, but you do need, you know, and unfortunately I'm out of practice for some of the wording, so I haven't had to do all that in a long time. But a lot of this is very, very important if we want to keep our sexual health at a high level. Hey, Teddy. Is there anything else you wanted to add a little more on this?
I'm just going to get on my soapbox one more time and just reiterate, know your status. Get tested often, regardless of your relationship commitment level. Get tested, know your status, stay up on your medications. There are preventive medications out there that you can use. There are things that you can use to keep your body regulated, ladies, and your pH balance regulated. There are different things out there. We have to keep our bodies together. Keep your doctor's appointments in. Go to the doctor. Ladies, we go to the doctor anyway, but a lot of men don't. Constantly check yourself. You never know, because your status is only as good as from your checkup to your first unprotected encounter to your next. And I'm not going to say your first. to your next unprotected encounter. People lie. People are sneaky. People do what they do, regardless of what they say their commitment level is to you, male or female. Keep up on your status. I harp on it for women more than men most times because it can affect our fertility. It can affect our other vital organs. It can affect our health. It can affect our mental status. It can affect whether we live or die, and not from the disease itself. That's all I got. I'm sorry. My soapbox.
No, your soapbox is wonderful because it's something that, you know, you and I have been through it. And we went through it with people that we trusted.
Girl, shit,
And
you trusted that motherfucker.
we went through it with people we trusted. At least, even if you catch something, damn it, tell your partners, man up, woman up, tell your partners. If they don't want anything to do with you, that's fine. That's the worst that can happen to you is you're not going to see that person again. So be it. But get yourself checked, get yourself cleared, and move on with your life. But do not move on with your life without telling your partners. That is the part for me that is inexcusable. We're getting your fan again. That's the part for me that's inexcusable because you're putting somebody else's life in danger. You're playing Russian roulette with other people's lives, and stop it. If you're an adult, you tell the truth. No matter, and sometimes it's those hard truths that we got to get out of our mouths that are very, very important, and we don't do it. And in our community, especially in our Black community, in our BDSM community, in our leather community, in our swinger community, in our poly community, we are spreading diseases that we do not need to spread if everyone would just have full disclosure. Step up, be the man or woman that you claim that you are, and tell your partner. A lot of these things that we mentioned tonight can be treated in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But you've got to speak up and tell folks because women don't always have symptoms and men don't always have symptoms. And sometimes when we get the symptoms, the damage is already done. Do not think that you having an affair and you don't want to tell your wife that you had an affair and you're sitting here, your dick is dripping and you know that the person was dirty and then you're turning around screwing your wife. Come on. Grow the fuck up. Get some kahunas. Do the right thing. You never know. She might not leave, but can't guarantee that. But at least you're not going to put her life in danger.
I can guarantee that if you don't tell her the truth right away, she gonna leave when she find out.
Yep.
I can guarantee that.
Yep. Out bouncing. Like I said, I probably would have stayed with my husband. I can honestly say that. I even told him that years ago. I mean, when the shit went down. But you lied. And I'm going to tell you right now, gentlemen and ladies, it is never about the sexual act. It is never about the other person. It is about the lie. I cannot trust you. So I am not going to be involved with you. It is not about, oh, he slept with somebody else or blah, blah, blah. What it is about is the lie. It is about you not being honest and I trusted you. And that trust is now betrayed and that trust is now gone. This is not, unfortunately, it is I hate to say it like this, but unfortunately, it's very common. All of this stuff that we're talking about happens and is very common. In order to stop this from being so common, we got to start talking. The only way to get rid of these infectious diseases and infections and diseases is to start taking ownership for our own shit. If you know you have something, you say something. You tell your partner or partners so that they don't continue to keep the cycle going. And for you folks that are out there and you feel it's cute, especially in the lifestyle, if somebody didn't ask you something and they didn't ask you the right questions so you feel like you don't have to disclose, you're a fucking coward. You ain't no boss. You ain't no big man on campus. You're not a dominant. You're a fucking coward. I said it. I mean it. If you cannot open your mouth and tell somebody that is under your charge or within your charge or within your household or within your life for years, you cannot tell the truth, you are a fucking coward. Every discussion is difficult. It doesn't matter what the discussion is. Especially when you're in the wrong. It's hard. We all get that. We understand that. But you still got to have these tough discussions. And these discussions affect people's lives. And in some cases, in some states, you can go to jail for this shit now. Some of you, especially the people that were passing on HIV and AIDS, they were passing on HIV to other people without disclosing their status. There's laws on the books now. So let's do better. Let's be adults. You might have to do that tough conversation, but you do it. And let the chips fall where they may. Because eventually, as you can tell by what we're reading now and where we've come from when I was in the 60s to where we are now in 2024, there are a lot of drugs out here that can have you living a pretty much regular sex life. You're going to know the symptoms. You're going to know what you're taking. You're going to know that you've taken it. You're going to know how to live with this, because some of you have to live with it for the rest of your life. I no more wanted to be sterile than the man on the moon. I wanted I wanted 8 children. I wanted a big family. And my husband took that away from me. By lying. And all he had to do was be fucking honest. I'm his wife. Tell me the truth so I could go get a shot, some pills for a week. It hurts. It hurts to be lied to. It hurts to be betrayed by someone that you love and by someone that you trust. You can bury the hurt over the years, but to know I couldn't have any more children, and I was fine. I was in my 20s. In my 20s. I was 22 years old. And all he had to do was say something. And he chose not to. If you want to fuck up your own life, that's fine. You don't have the right to fuck up everybody else's. So people, know your status. Understand that your status is only good on paper until the next time that you have an encounter. Don't think that that status is good after you've been with somebody else, because no, it's null and void and you need to start over. But damn it, if you're a fucking adult, if you're out here and you're doing your damn thing and you laying it down and you doing all this shit and you can't be man or woman enough to tell the truth, you're a fucking coward. And there's there's nothing that you could possibly say to me. And I'm not even involved in any of the situations to change my mind. There's too much information out here. All y'all go out here and you can get on the internet and you can Google this and you can Google that and you can Google the other and you can do the latest TikTok dance, but the shit that you need to have, the information that you need to have, you don't go get. So I'm going to get off my soapbox because I didn't mean to get that emotional, but I want people to understand that this is not a game. This is not a game. This is people's lives.
Yep. Facts. Straight facts.
Oh, Teddy, thank you for the compliment on the interview. Thank you. I had a good time on BLX. I'm hoping to go back on someday. So that was fun. So
I might have to go back and find it because I could not get on there that day. I don't know what I was doing.
it was pretty cool. It was pretty fun. Had a good time with, I got to say, I should just give a shout out to him. Thank you so much, DLX, for letting me be on your show. I enjoyed every minute of it. So had a good time with the ladies and gentlemen, and make sure you tune into them. I'll try to stick the link out here. I think I can find it and put it on my page so everybody can kind of watch it again. So it was fun. It was a good time. Good time. I'm about to be on another show this Sunday. I forgot about that, here in Cleveland at 2 a.m. Sunday morning. Sunday morning from 2 a.m. to 4 p.m. But I'll put more information out on that so that you
2
guys
a.m. to 4 p.m.
It's a radio podcast. Yeah, 2 a.m. to 4. Yeah, that's like Saturday night. You know what I'm saying? When people get out the bars and stuff, and because our bars close at 2. So
I mean 4 a.m. You said 4 p.m.
a.m. Yeah, 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. 2 a.m. to 4.
You gonna be up that late?
Yes, ma'am. I get to go talk about Ebony Erotic Experience. I get to talk about JewCee Boutique, and I get to talk about sex. My ass will be up. Yes.
Have fun with that.
I'm gonna call you. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys got something out of the show tonight. I really, really do. I think it's very important. And we might do a part 2 so that we can concentrate on a couple of things, more things about symptoms, what to look for if you're a man, and what to look for if you're a woman. But remember, some of these STIs do not, sometimes women don't have the symptoms right away, and sometimes men don't have the symptoms right away. So you got to communicate. You got to do them 3 C's, clear, concise communication. You would be surprised how much this could help. So we want you to keep your relationships hot, tight, and together. And the way to do that is to be honest. So on that note, next week is Miss Purple Wayne's turn to take the lead. She's gonna take the lead next week. I don't know what she's gonna talk about. I know it's gonna be good though. It's gonna be hot.
Be coming back after an event. So I gotta figure this out.
You can do it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a good time, regardless. But we're gonna try to get this audio stuff a little bit better on the new platform. We're gonna work on that this week, making sure we can hear everything. But other than that, you guys, hey, everybody have a great
hear everything. That part.
Oh, where are you going next weekend? Let everybody know where you're headed.
I will be in Dayton, Ohio. Shout out to Henny B's production. She is throwing a luau hotel takeover. So I will be in Dayton, Ohio. She is doing a small dungeon from like 1 to 5. So most of the weekend I will be partying it up, but I will be in the dungeon from 1 to 5 on Saturday. So
okay, well, I'm not traveling this weekend, thank you, Jesus, because I tried to kill myself these past 2 weekends.
Until October after this, I'm done.
I do got to travel in September. I'm gonna be down at NFL Social Club. My girls is gonna they celebrating their 10 years in Columbus. Okay, I want to give a shout out to some of my MC family that I saw. I got to give a shout out to, of course, Taste the Honey and Spice that did damn thing, making sure everybody was taken care of. For 317 MC, those are my sisters. I love them to death and beyond. And I'm gonna be nice for a change. I'm gonna give a shout out to Immortal Souls. I got to see Watermelon this weekend. I love you, girl. We went down memory lane and laughed a little bit about a couple things.
And shout out to Mocha from 317 as well. That's my bookie.
Yeah, we had a great time with 317. If you guys have never been to a 317 MC party, you need to go. You need to go.
It's the best.
A lot of fun. A lot of fun. So we had a great time. Once again, let's tell you one more time about those tickets. You got to get those tickets for the Ebony Erotic Experience going down November 1st and 2nd here in Cleveland, Ohio. You can go out to Eventbrite, or you can take the flyer that we have up and you can hit those QR codes, and you can also do Afterpay. You can get your tickets now and pay later so that you can be a part of the Ebony Erotic Experience, the Day of the Dead. Your erotic rebirth is going to be off the fucking chain, okay? So make sure you get your tickets and join us. Anything else in closing, ma'am?
No, ma'am. Get tested.
All right, y'all. We had a great time tonight. Make sure you tune back in next Monday night as Miss Purple Rain will take the lead. We hope you learned something tonight. If you didn't, you can watch the show as much as you like on all of our platforms. And once again, remember to enjoy, enlighten, and embrace eroticism. We'll see you back here next Monday night, because guess what? Football season is back and we'll have your scores. Don't forget. And because we're 2 football girls right here, 2 football girls. We're going to have your scores. Don't worry. So join us next Monday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 Central, 6:30 for our folks out on the West Coast, and 9:30 for our brothers and sisters in Barbados. Everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next Monday night. Bye-bye.